Hello, everybody. I'm Mike McDonald. I'm the president of Kidventure. Thank you all for being with us today. I think we have a couple in here already. I'm going to introduce myself and talk a little bit about me, and then I'll switch over to Mollie. If I could sort of get a pulse a little bit, are y'all new to Kidventure, or are you returning campers from years past?
Returning campers.
All right. Yay. Was that Alicia or was that Sarah?
That's Sarah. I got the crazies, Lila and Sloan.
Oh yes,
Lila and Sloan.
It's good to see you guys again. Thank you all very much for being here. We're gonna highlight everything Camp Rough Life today. Talk about what's new, which there's a lot to talk about new wise. You know, we started priority registration this morning for all returners from 21.
How do you?
And there's been a lot of interest thus far.
How do you register? Like, because I went on Apollo Kidventure and I don't see an area to register.
Yeah, Sarah, we emailed a link. It hit this morning at 9 o'clock. You might check your spam, and what we can do is we can, Mollie, will you go ahead also and send her that link as well?
Yes.
That would be awesome. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. And when we have fewer people in these two, it's a lot easier to sort of, go back and forth as well. I know we've had a couple more people just join in. Thanks very much for being here, y'all. And I hope you're warm and safe in your homes, by the way. So for those just joining, my name is Mike McDonald. I'm the president of Kidventure Camps. This will be our 28th summer of Kidventure. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mollie, our 8th year of Camp Rough Life.
Yes, at least 8.
And Mollie has quite a unique skill set when it comes to Rough Life. I think she started there in 2016, was director for a few years, right?
Yes, I was started out as a counselor at Camp Rough Life, and I was a director at Camp Rough Life. So Camp Rough Life has a special place in my heart.
Nice.
Mollie now serves as our full-time camps coordinator, so she oversees all the camp operations in Austin. And so it's good having her on the phone, especially for this presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go to a presentation and talk through. We have a section at the end for Q&A. If you get a question, though, and you don't want to forget it, put it down in the chat. And then we'll refer back to the chat as well. And if there's any questions in there, we'll address those questions as well. Mollie, if you'll let me know once I get going here, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, it's loading. There you go.
Okay. If you have tuned in for Camp Rough Life, you're in the right spot. So we're going to talk about everything just specifically Camp Rough Life. Once again, our 8th, maybe 9th year at Rough Life. It's been a blast. I mean, when you think of an ideal summer camp setting, I don't think you can do much better than the facilities at Highland Village, both aquatic and field space, green space, courts, everything. I mean, we've kind of got it all there. And we're very particular about our summer camps, where we run summer camp. They've got to have the right amenities. And certainly the Highland Village area does have that as well. So, let me get back on there. Okay, there we go. Before I get going, I think important to, those who've been to Kidventure kind of know our mission, have a sense of it, but I think it's important to reiterate that mission, because really it's not about what we do at camp. It's really why we do it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But our mission is to help build the self-esteem and the self-worth of every child through our every action. Every child possesses the innate ability to learn and succeed. And our goal should simply be to lead children towards a happy, healthy, and responsible lifestyle. While succeeding in building physical skills is important, teaching children to love themselves and learn is one of life's great lessons. And at Kidventure, we're more than just a camp. And I think I don't have to tell everybody here on this, the last couple of years have been really tough on everybody. And I think they've been really tough on our kids. And I think a lot of people just sort of assume our kids fly under the radar and they're okay and they're resilient. But there's been a lot of anxiety for our kids, and there's been a lot of uncertainty for our kids, and I think for good reason. And camps always provided this incredible platform to bring kids together to teach, confidence and happiness and resolve and grit and independence. And I really don't believe that that need has ever been greater than it is right now. And I think the summer of 2022 is crucial for that, right? As we pull our kids out of this muck that is the pandemic and give them an opportunity to be hopeful and happy. And, man, I think all of that. And so the rewards of camp are great. And I think they're even greater this year. And for us, there's 5 rewards of camp that I think are most notable. One of those is a greater sense of self-esteem and self-worth. The second is an ability to foster and create positive relationships. Get our kids out from behind their social media and their screens and have them be face-to-face to other kids and create good, positive relationships, right? I think camp provides the opportunity for a greater sense of independence. As parents, and I'm a parent of 4, I want my kids to grow up independent, right? I want them not to be so dependent on me so they can go out and do the things that they need to be successful in life. And I think camp gives us that chance to teach that. The fourth is an ability to work together in teams. We have always felt that team building was crucial to our camp programs, right? We group our kids in groups of 10, right? We come together with groups of 20s. Teaching cooperation, trust, problem solving, communication, I think it's just so important for our kids right now. It's a skill set that a lot of our kids or adults don't have. And then lastly is we want to create an environment that's kind, that's empathetic, right? That kids feel good about going there. And we want to model that kind of kindness to our kids. I think that's super important in our world right now. So those are the rewards of camp. Keep in mind that everything that we do at Kidventure is for a reason, right? And that reason is to produce these rewards at the end of the day, at the end of the week, and the end of the summer. All right, so that's sort of the foundation of Kidventure, why we're trying to do camp, right? And I'm going to turn it over to Mollie right now. And Mollie, if you'll just talk about the basics of camp, we'll move on from there.
Yeah, excuse me. So basically camp is Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. We will start this summer on June 6th. It's 10 weeks. So Camp Rough Life will go through August 12th, right around when school's about to start again. Again, it's Monday through Friday. Except for the 2 weeks, we're off that Monday. We're off the Monday for July 4th, and we are off that Monday for Juneteenth. So it's 2 federal holidays this summer. Camp times, we run from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The drop-off will vary by site, but most likely it's going to be that 7:45 time again if you were with us last year. And then, of course, you have that post-camp option. We know a lot of families work, so they need that kind of extra care at the end of the day. And that goes from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can register for that when you go register initially. If you don't know if you need it yet, you can go ahead and add that on later. Another option that we have are our catered lunches. The options you have are a 5-day catered lunch. So each day they will get a lunch provided from our caterer here in Austin. So that 5-day catered lunch is $35.50. If you don't want to do all the 5 days, we do have single day options for Wednesday, which is Chicken Nugget Wednesday and Pizza Friday, are very popular add-ons. So just remember, if you do sign up for that 5-day catered lunch, you do not need to add that Chicken Nugget Wednesday and Pizza Friday. We don't want you to get charged extra for no reason. So just keep that in mind. And those Wednesday and Friday options are $7.25 each.
Yeah, and I will say that our caterer is really good. Everything is made from scratch. We ask him not to cook with any peanut or peanut byproducts as well. And so even our picky eaters tend to really like those lunches. But I would say on average, half the camp brings their lunches and half orders from the catered lunch menu. Probably everybody orders Pizza Friday, I think.
Yes.
And there you go. There's the basics. Okay. So at Camp Rough Life, we have one program there. We run more than one program, but just one program there. And that's Explorers. That's an age group. If your child is entering 1st in the fall through entering 5th in the fall, then you're good to go. Okay. I do have some 12-year-olds or 11-year-olds that are a little bit older than 5th grade, and they still come. So if you have that situation, you can kind of call us and let us know if we think it's a good fit. Okay. But there's your eligibility in terms of ages. Everything that we do at camp falls under a curriculum that we've created over the last 28 years, and it's called the 4 Cornerstones. And look, essentially, it's distilled down to this. We think there's 4 main areas in a kid's life that they need to be involved in order to really optimize their growth and health. And we think those 4 areas are the following. Creativity, right? We've got to give our kids the opportunity to be creative. and use that side of their brain for art, game creation, Legos, creative writing. Those are examples of creativity. We need to give our kids the chance to explore their world, make independent decisions, take some risk, right? That's science, imagination centers, field trips for us. Also, team building would probably be in there too as well. Our kids need to be physical, right? They need to run around. They need to move their body. That's where your athletics, your camp games, swimming, dance come in. And then reflection, right? I think we take this for granted, right? I think we just go with our kids. We don't stop to think about what we just did. So that's why we do yoga. It's why we debrief a lot of our stuff. It's why we do ribbon ceremony on Friday. We want to get our kids to pause, think about what we did. What actions did we take? What were the repercussions? Did we succeed? Did we not succeed in that endeavor, and why? That's what we call our cornerstones. So everything that we do in camp is going to fall under one of those stones, if you will. Everything we do is age appropriate. And we get this question a lot. Yeah, you've got 6-year-old essentially through 12-year-old. Yeah, but they're not all together. They're divided out on Monday into smaller age groups of 10. So there's our ratio, 1 to 10. And they do most of what they do during the week are in those age appropriate groups, right? And they'll rotate. Some might be at art, some might be swimming, some might be at athletics or archery, whatever it might be. They do come together where appropriate, right? If we have a special guest there or for lunch or something like that. But rest assured, 12-year-olds are not playing dodgeball with 6-year-olds at Kidventure, all right? Secondly, we're active. You're not going to find us sitting around screens and watching movies to make our time happen. That's just not Kidventure. We are an active camp program. Your kids will fall asleep in the evening time easily, I promise. Purposeful, I mentioned that earlier. Everything we do has a reason. And then holistic, meaning we take a wide view of camp. We want our kids to be exposed to a wide variety of activities. We think that's important for their growth. And so your kids will get to do a lot of different activities. Mollie, you want to talk specifically? You probably know this better than anybody at Rough Life, what we're doing there.
Yeah, so at Rough Life, we do a lot of different athletics because we are so fortunate there to have those different green spaces. So we'll take them to the volleyball court and we'll play volleyball. Or if you've ever come and you've probably heard of the game Newcomb, it's another camp favorite. We'll play soccer. We'll utilize all those open fields for them. Of course, Gaga. We'll have our own inflatable Gaga pits that we'll have at sites. So we get to play Gaga. The kids love it. And then we have 9 Square. So we've gotten these new 9 Square sets. They're adjustable. They're awesome. It's another big game here at camp. Archery tag, another huge one. That's when we teach the kids how to hold a bow and arrow, how to shoot a bow and arrow. They're not sharp. Don't worry. They're not, those big heavy duty kind. They have a nice marshmallow at the tip. So when you get hit with it, it doesn't really hurt at all. It does not hurt at all. It's a lot of fun. They love shooting arrows at their counselors. Swimming. We have a pool at Rough Life. We swim every day, except for I know last year we didn't swim on Mondays because they had to do maintenance of the pool. Not sure what that schedule is this year, but when we have the opportunity, we swim every single day. We do a swim test. We come into camp assuming that no kid knows how to swim, and we take a swim test every Monday. They have to swim from the pool with the lazy rivers, the main one that we take. They swim from one end to the other in that middle pool with the beach area. If they're not a super strong swimmer, our lifeguard will let us know, and we will keep an eye on them. They can go in the lazy river if they're in that tube, they can stay on that beachy area or the steps. We just keep an extra close eye on them. And we all know that it's very popular there to swim at Camp Rough Life. One of the reasons why everyone wants to come to Rough Life. Field trips. Field trips are back if you've been with us in the past pre-pandemic. We went on weekly field trips. We will continue that. I'm in the works right now on scheduling all of those field trips. We'll talk a little bit about them in just a moment, but exciting news. And then, of course, those art and science projects. Again, they're going to be age appropriate. A 6-year-old is not going to be doing the same art project as the 12-year-old. We're going to challenge them a little bit differently. And of course, character building. We have character traits of the week every week. We award that character trait to our campers during our midday rally. They get to wear, one of our name tags, and they're really proud of themselves. And we give them examples of how that camper exemplified that character trait, because we want to build that with them.
Great. Yeah, just a few more pictures and things. We've really invested a lot more in terms of camp equipment this year. Every campsite is going to have 9 square kits. We've expanded our archery tag as well this year. That's really been a big game the last 2-3 years. So we decided to really invest more into that and expand that program. Team building is another part of what we do. So we have a series of equipment and events where we teach kids how to work together, to problem solve, to trust, to cooperate, to communicate. We think that's an essential part of our program. And then all camps, right? We have 1 week this summer where all 5 Kidventure camps come together for this huge celebration. It is more energy than you can imagine, and more information is coming on that soon. So there you go. Finally, the field trips. Yes, if you've not been with us on a field trip, and we've got a lot of campers that haven't, right? Because we haven't done them for 2 years, thanks to the pandemic. We travel on full-size luxury tour buses. They are equipped with restrooms, television, air conditioning, seat belts. They are 56 passenger touring buses. And if the kids just drove around and we cranked up the stereo, they would think that was the coolest field trip in the world. But we actually go a lot of really amazing places, as Mollie was alluding to earlier. Those field trips will happen once a week, typically on a Wednesday or a Thursday. They will happen during the confines of camp, meaning within that 8 to 3 o'clock. So we won't extend those times for our field trips. And I think the only people more excited about field trips coming back than the campers are probably the staff, because it's a huge part of their week too this week, and they love it. All right. I would be remiss if I did not talk about our team, because you can have the greatest amenities in the world and you can have all the best events and activities at camp. If you do not have a summer camp staff that loves what they do, that's mature, that's fun, that's spirited, that want to be a part of the lives of kids, then you don't have a camp program. And that's really where we place our greatest emphasis at Kidventure, is our staff. And we're unique in regards to that. So the vast majority of our staff are teachers, they're college students in the education department, kinesiology, coaching. They want to be there because they want to make their life's career about kids, right? And that's where we focus our attention when it comes to hiring for us. Everyone is first aid CPR certified. Everybody wears uniform. Everybody goes through extensive training, which we've sort of really expanded this year too as well. You will notice that we don't offer camp, that first week of camp, if you will, because that week we are doing a lot more training that week right after Memorial Day. So we don't start camp this year until the 6th, and that's because of that. We're going to spend more time with our staff this year. Our kids have had a rough time the last couple of years, and we need to focus on training our staff to be more sensitive to that, to be more plugged in to our kids' needs in 2022. All right, and so there's team, you guys. Let's talk about registration. All right, so registration for Camp Rough Life began today at 9 a.m. for those families who were a part of 2021. Okay, so they got a link, and they've been registering since 9 o'clock this morning. Registration for the general public will open up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Okay, so keep that in mind. So if you have a link, you know how to register. If you don't have a link and you weren't part of 21, tomorrow on the Austin page, you'll see a bunch of buttons. And if you click into Camp Rough Life's information at the bottom of that page, you'll see a button. So there'll be plenty of opportunity to click on links tomorrow. You'll simply click on that link, and then you'll see the menu of weeks 1 through 10 and options associated with them. You'll select whatever weeks you want to. You can always add weeks. So we don't have necessarily a deadline for registration. Camp Rough Life does fill. Every week fills. And when that happens, you'll be put on a wait list. It doesn't cost you to be on a wait list. You can just choose to be on one. And I would get yourself on a wait list, because a lot of movement takes place in the summer. Family schedules change. Vacations come up. It happens. And so we're really good. And I think actually that system's automated this year. So the moment somebody is taken off of that, it will shoot an email out to you, and you'll have 24 hours to make a decision on if you want that space or not. So definitely do that. As soon as you register, you'll get a confirmation email that'll be sent to you. And then during the summer, you'll be sent a newsletter on Thursday prior to each week attending. That newsletter is important because then it's going to give you sort of all the highlights about the week coming up, what to wear. If it's crazy sock day or wear your clothes backwards day, you're going to know that. That's the main way we communicate with you, is through that. Okay. All right. So with that, let's talk about the deposit process, because that's changed a little bit this year. Mollie, you want to explain that one?
Sure. So for our deposit process, we have it for refunds. That's going to be on a tiered system. So when you register, you're going to be required to pay a $75 deposit per session that you sign up for. And if you something happens, plans change, we completely understand. If you send us in writing that you need to cancel by March 31st, you'll get $50 of that $75 back to you. Around April 30th, if you need to cancel, it'll be $25 refunded. And after May 1st, beginning May 1st and on, there'll be no refund of that $75 deposit. If you want to continue to the next slide, I can go on to the next. Aside from deposits, that $75 deposit is put toward your tuition for the whole summer, for the summer. So if you do need, say, you're going away July 4th week and you need to cancel, if you go ahead and shoot us an email at austin@kidventure.com, we need it in writing, 10 days before that start of camp, you'll be able to get a refund of the remainder of your tuition. If, of course, you've already paid in full. You don't need to pay in full when you go and when you register. If there is a card on file, you will be billed 10 days out, automatically billed. Of course, if you need to transfer a week, it costs no charge to transfer a different week, of course, if it's available and there's not a wait list happening. If you need any more information on the refund and billing process, if you go to our website and click on Parent Guide, under the drop-down menu, click on Policies and Procedures, it'll give you a lot more detail on that refund and billing policy. But just remember, 10 days out, we need that notice in order for you to get any amount of a refund.
Okay. Before we do Q&A, there's one other slide I didn't have in here, but I think it's notable, and I'll stop sharing here so we can go back. We do have an updated new app. I don't know if anybody has realized that yet or not now. If you have an iPhone, it will, when you go back into that app that you had last year, it will prompt you to enter your active credentials. Okay, so our app is now tied to your the registration system, that account. So you'll be able to view everything on your app now that you would be on your desktop, essentially. Okay, if you are on an Android, you'll need to delete that app and reload it because it won't. I'm not the developer here. But it won't automatically take you to your credentials to active there. Okay. If you don't have the app, you can either go to Apple Store or you can go to Google Play and download the Kidventure app. And it's really great, by the way. It will allow us the opportunity to share photos with you and videos, send you notifications. I mean, last summer, it really became sort of the main way that we communicated with you, basically because of the notification portion of that app. So I urge you to do that. Okay. All right. So with that, let's go to questions. Mollie, you want to help moderate those questions?
Of course. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat and we will get started on those. Give everyone a minute to type.
How many kids per each camp counselor is one of the questions in there. Thank you for that, Lori. We have a 1 to 10 ratio at camp. That does not count our director, and that does not count, usually we have a float or two as well. Mm-hmm. So there you go, 1 to 10 ratio. And what'll happen is typically 2 groups combine with each other. So 2 of the older groups will get together, 2 of the younger groups get together. That's typically how we do that. So that way we have 2 counselors with each group of 10 kids. Much easier to run camp that way. Great question, though. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? And there's, I think there's few enough people in here too. If you want to go ahead, mm-hmm. Please feel free to speak up too.
But yes, Lori, we will have lifeguards. We'll at least have 1 to 2. Our hope is 2 counselors that are also lifeguard certified. So on top of being CPR certified and first aid certified, we will have a lifeguard there as well. And we have a ratio of the pool, so we will not send all the kids out at once to the pool because that's just chaos. So we will swim in groups as well. So we can have less kids, less chaos, keep a better eye on everybody. But yes, we will have lifeguards.
Thanks, Lori.
What happens
if it's raining? Well, usually in the summer here, if it's raining, it's a really wonderful thing. But weather's going to happen. So we always have a backup plan, what we do. So obviously if we're in the pool or we're going to be swimming and there's the threat of lightning and thunder, anything like that, we'll have to pull out of the pool like we would at any other pool. Same thing outdoors. We shift our schedules. We move things around. It's rare that I'm going back to field trips now pre-pandemic. If we had the threat of rain on a field trip, we would adjust our field trips too as well. So Mollie's always got a plan B and a plan C in your back pocket. And when you're working with kids, if you don't have plan B and plan C, you're going to be up a creek. So it's a great question though. Thank you.
Yeah. When it comes to pool too, if it is raining, if it's a light drizzle, we might still go in that pool. They're going to get wet either way. But of course, we're going to monitor and we look at the radar. If there's lightning or thunder in the area, just like you would at any public pool, we will not swim. And our directors and myself and our managers all have those backup plans if need be with those swimming. It's always a heartbreak to the kids when we can't swim, but they understand why. Some of them would love to go swimming in the lightning and the thunder, but not a good idea.
Not happening. Other questions?
All right. So a rough schedule of the field trips. So so on when I'm in the midst of locking those field trips down right now, still waiting on some places to get back to me because they don't really start their scheduling stuff until March. However, once I get all those locked down, when you click on the Rough Life button on the Austin page and click on those field trips, we will have all those field trips listed out for you so you can kind of gauge that. I already know that in the first 2 weeks of summer, I do have those ones locked down. The first week we'll be going to High Five. We'll be doing bowling and arcade, so right here in Lakeway, not a very far drive. And then the second week we'll be going to Playland Skate Center. So if the kids do not, I know some, like me growing up, I was terrible at rollerblading, still am. But there is a nice, fun, big playscape that they have in the back as well. If they don't want to skate, we'll have other options as that. And we'll have the whole Playland Skate Center to ourselves, which is going to be super fun.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things, certainly one of the cool things about Kidventure, because we run summer camp in 5 locations in Austin, we tend to be able to rent out the whole place. So it's just us. And it's kind of off the charts in terms of the energy and the fun because of that. So yeah, I would say by spring break, we typically have 90% of that schedule listed out for you guys. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Sarah.
Yep. And just another note too, that all camps that we talked about as well, that one is actually considered our field trip for the week. So keep that in mind. Some kids, love it. Others might not love it. So just keep that in mind as well, that all camps is considered a field trip. And that's usually about midsummer.
Any other questions? Okay. You guys have been, go ahead.
I got one thing.
Yep.
Some of you might know this as well, but I just want to shoot it out there. We do have spring break, a spring break session for you guys in March 14th through the 18th at Camp Rough Life. Be a full week. We're super excited for that. We will also be taking a field trip that for spring break as well. It'll be our first field trip of the year. We're super excited for it. So I know some of you have been with us before. If you are a brand new family, it's a great time to kind of check us out and kind of learn a little bit about us and see if you guys want to take the plunge for the summer.
All right, we appreciate y'all joining us today. Thank you guys very much. If you have any other questions, we're always available for you during normal business hours, so feel free to reach out. We're at austin@kidventure.com, or you can reach us at 512-263-8992. We recorded this, and so we'll share this with the HOA, and if they want to put it up on the Facebook page, I think they're probably going to want to do that anyway. So thank you all very much. stay warm and stay safe these next couple of days. And we look forward to seeing you guys at camp. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you.